DC Universe brings us its newest original series with the release of Harley Quinn, an adults-only animated series. Is this show worth checking out? Find out here when I'll be going over my general thoughts on the series and if it's something you should be watching. Now, ever since the announcement of DC Universe, we've been promised an animated Harley Quinn show. It seems like this one really took forever to be released, but it's finally here, and I was really eager to check it out as Harley is one of my all-time favorite characters. Although this is an animated series, it is absolutely not for kids. Now, I know some people let their kids watch things like Family Guy and shows like that, but this one is a lot more explicit than that type of show. There is extreme violence and language in the show, so you definitely don't want to let the kiddos check this one out. DC has done its best to include Harley in a lot of their other projects, and I know she's a fan favorite for many younger viewers, but this show is strictly for mature audiences. With all that being said, this show was just so much fun to watch. Yes, the violence and gore was a little over the top, but I still enjoyed it. I would imagine the sexual content might increase as well, judging from the overall theme of the show, but in the premiere episode it was only really hinted at. I've watched Harley ever since Batman the Animated Series, and I've always compared the various incarnations to that one, and while this series is a complete 180 from the Batman the Animated Series, I still thought it brought us an interesting look at the character. The animation on this show isn't anything overly impressive, it was still fun and colorful, and I liked how the beginning of the show we had Harley in her classic outfit, and then later more towards her movie-esque outfit. The series dealt with Harley realizing that her relationship with the Joker is toxic, and that while she loves him, he may only love Batman and has no real affection for her. She comes to this conclusion after Joker abandons her in Arkham Asylum for over a year, and while doing time at Arkham she becomes close to fellow Batman villain Poison Ivy, and they break out together and end up as roommates. Ivy comes up with a plan to prove to Harley once and for all that Joker doesn't love her and she needs to move on. If you follow the comics, you know that Harley and Ivy are actually a couple now, but so far in the series this hasn't happened, although I think it was pretty evident that Ivy might be feeling more than friendly towards Harley. I think if you want to see it, it's there, and if you just enjoy them as buddies, then you can see that as well. I actually loved how so many people in the show saw the Harley-Joker relationship for what it actually was, and not as relationship goals. I'm just not a fan at all of how this pairing has been romanticized on social media, and I just cringe every time I see a meme about them. This show does not sugarcoat the characters and makes it a point to show us how wrong the relationship is and how Harley really needs to move on. I really hope the series sticks to this and doesn't have Joker trying to worm his way back into Harley's good graces as it goes on. I think it's kind of important to show this character regaining herself instead of just being the villain's sidekick. Another thing I noticed was that the series made subtle homages to the classic Harley moments. I noticed they showed a scene of her dancing with Joker that reminded me a lot of the flashback scene in Suicide Squad, which is actually based on a comic cover by Alex Ross. There was also a scene of Harley in lingerie, yet still wearing the classic mask, which made me think of a scene from Batman the Animated Series, in which Harley was pretty much wearing the same thing. As for the voice cast, I was really surprised with how much I liked Kaley Cuoco in the title role, since I've been a fan of her from The Big Bang Theory, but I really wasn't sure how I would like her as a voice actress. But I'm glad to report that she's probably one of my favorite voices for the character, and while at times it was kind of obvious that it was Kaley's voice, for the most part I completely forgot about it and I just really enjoyed the character. In the most recent Batman and Harley Quinn movie, they had Kaley's fellow Big Bang Theory co-star Melissa Roche voicing Harley, and to me, she always sounded like Melissa Roche, and really just did nothing for the character. Mark Hamill will always be the definitive Joker voice for me, but I thought that Alan Tudyk did a really good job. He's obviously mimicking Hamill's version, but I also think he's kind of doing his own thing, and it really worked for me overall. Another thing I liked about this premiere was its version of Batman, and I look forward to seeing the other big name characters. I know at some point we will get to see Wonder Woman, and I hope we get to see the Justice League or maybe even the Titans. I think that DC can pretty much do what they want with these characters, so we really shouldn't be limited as to who we can see, which is kind of exciting. It'd be really cool if they did their own version of the Harley's Black Book comic book with, guest appearances from different people throughout the DC universe. So overall, I'd say that if you like the character and you enjoy a more adult look at your comics, then this is definitely one you should check out. It was just really fun and I enjoyed it, and it's so different from your other DC animated shows, which was a nice change. The show is releasing weekly, so I'm really not a big fan of that, but I think you could just If you just wanted to watch the show, you could wait a few weeks and just kind of binge it. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments about the series and if you're going to check it out. Remember to smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, and as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again real soon.